How's it going, guys? Welcome on this live stream tonight. Let me put this down. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I know you guys saw me this early morning, but it is time for us to discuss this topic. Now, I'm not sure what you guys have done today. First of all, how is your doing? How is your day going, guys? I know you guys had your stuff to do. You had your runarounds. You chilled with your family, and now you're probably here. And it's time that I discuss this because over the years, you guys have heard me talk about villains. If you watched my Hero Academia reactions, if you watched my vlog on Dragon Balls, if you watched my debate 2 years ago or 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, with against Blur Nation, he's a good friend of mine. Like a good, not that we've seen each other face to face, but we do talk from time to time. He's now a manga reader full time, and I think he posts his stuff now on what is it called? Um, like one of these outside website or I forgot what it's called, man. Holy shit. Anyways, he posts his manga reading there because YouTube is giving him a hard time. We do talk from time to time, like I said. Chill guy, good personality, and I hope everything goes well for him. So today is my top 10 villains of all time. And these villains, I may not have the same top 10 list as you. My top 10 list is probably different from you, but I'm sure that the characters that I'm going to name, that the characters that I'm going to mention will probably be similar to yours, but just a little different. And I picked out these villains not just because of how strong they are or their hacks, their feats, not really. It's more of the impact they had on me, on the anime, and also most importantly, and also the reason why I debated Blur Nation 2 or 3 years ago, is a true villain, being a true villain to the core. And what is a true villain to me? A true villain to me might not be a true villain to you, but I believe that one fundamental description of a true villain is a villain that started out as a villain, or maybe was a good guy but starts as a villain for some particular reason and died as a villain. I believe, to me, that is what is called a true villain. A villain that never wavered his ambition, that never wavered his resolve, starts out as a villain and ended as a villain. To me, that is a true villain. So, for example, Aizen Sosuke, he is a famous villain. But to me, Aizen, as much as he's good in his craft and impact he had on Bleach, to me, Aizen Sosuke is not a true villain. At one point, he became more of an anti-hero, right? His reasoning for wanting to go to the Soul King's Palace because he felt that things needs to change. He didn't like the way things are going, although he did unalive a lot of people in Soul Society. But at the same time, he ended up being more of an anti-hero. Someone who is really not a hero, but at the same time not a villain. They just believe in their own conviction, and they are not a good guy or a bad guy. There are characters like that, Another famous villain that I would mention real quick right now will be Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. Meruem is the Chimera Ant King that during his conception, you can tell that the queen is not going to survive. And this baby, once it's born, will definitely take over the whole human history if not checked. So immediately when he was conceived, you can tell that he's going to be a badass character. He was ominous, but as time went on, he started learning an understanding thanks to Komugi, because Komugi was able to change Meruem's perspective, and he realized that all he was doing was he was trying to survive. You can also call it a child that doesn't understand who he's up against, who he's up against. And towards the end of his character, he became actually a good person, thanks to Komugi once again, because Komugi was able to make Meruem realize that there is more than just going around unaliving, eating humans, devouring, taking over territories. So that changed his perspective. And due to the fact that Meruem ended up changing his perspective and became a good person thanks to Komugi, to me, he's not a true villain, okay? Because he didn't end his reign as a villain. So these are the examples that I'm bringing up. And as we go along, I'm going to, actually right now, I'm going to give you guys my list, and I'm going to tell you why, or maybe I should do them one by one. I don't know. Maybe I should do it one by one. So the first person on my list, ladies and gentlemen, the first character on my list is none other than the one and only Frieza. Frieza from Dragon Ball is my number one villain of all time. And my ranking is not really based on how strong they are. It's just my total list, right? It's not about how strong. They are not in order on how strong they are or the impact they had on me. I just made the list finally because I've been wondering. I know I have a top 3. I know I have a top 4. But at the same time, I think based on the fact that I have seen a lot of animes, I think by now I should have a top 10 list, god damn it, So I figured out, what, it's time I finally put my head into it and jot down my top 10 anime villains of all time. So the first one is Frieza. Why Frieza? Because I grew up watching Dragon Ball, and when it got to Frieza arc, Frieza, the things he did, it was just abominable. Frieza was the emperor. Frieza was a true villain from Dragon Ball. You can talk about Dragon Ball Z, then Dragon Ball Super. Frieza conquering not just territory, he was conquering planets. He was conquering them, blowing them up, got to the Saiyans, subjugated the Saiyans. But of course, he didn't start with the Saiyan. He took over from his father, King Cold, because King Cold and Frieza ancestors were the one doing this job, this pirating thing, space pirate thing, for a very long time. Even Lord Chill, as we heard of him during Dragon Ball, the father of Goku, or Bodak, when he took on Lord Chill. And, Frieza's ancestors has been doing this. And I hope that one day they're going to tell us a story on Dragon Ball, mainly on Frieza's ancestors, how they became such powerful space pirate, who gave them their power, or how they became so powerful in their own rights. So Frieza destroyed a lot of planets. Frieza has a lot of bodies, a lot of body bags on him. If one day there may be a way Frieza will count how many planets he has destroyed over his lifetime, I would say that there are many. So Frieza is my number one villain of all time. Just because, and again, the Saiyan saga was what marked Frieza as a tyrant, and what made it more vivid was when he killed, or let me say, when he unalived Vegeta. I remember watching Frieza saga long time ago, and when it got to the part when Vegeta was laughing at Frieza, because Vegeta can tell how strong Goku has gotten. Vegeta knew that Goku is already knocking on the door of that legendary Super Saiyan transformation. Vegeta knew, Vegeta can tell, Vegeta can see that Goku is knocking at the door. And Vegeta actually believed that Goku has, not only knocking on the door, but actually is going to obtain it or has obtained it. And he started laughing at Frieza. And when he was laughing, I'm like, please shut up. Please keep your mouth shut. You already got your ass whooped. You can't get up anymore. You're literally useless at this point. Please keep your mouth shut, because if you keep talking, he's going to unalive you. And Vegeta just kept laughing and going on and on about Super Saiyan. And before you know what's happening, Frieza just delivered that laser beam of his, that deadly laser beam. And before Vegeta died, Vegeta actually, when I hated Frieza, was after Vegeta said what he said before he died. Vegeta explained that Frieza made him who he is. He didn't get the chance to be anybody else but what Frieza wanted him to be. Of course, you can also say that King Vegeta also treated Vegeta a little bit almost the same way, but at least he had the love of his father, but his father knew that since he's going to be a prince, since he's going to take over, at some point he needs to be apart. He needs to train. He needs to go through hardship. Even Vegeta, I believe, during the time, I think there was a scene where Vegeta followed his father to conquer a planet. And he partnered up with his father and the armies, and they blew a planet, and Vegeta saw everything. He was, taking over planets and beating up people. So when Vegeta explained why he didn't have the choice to become who he wanted to be, he did everything Frieza asked. The Saiyans did everything Frieza asked, and even more. But at the end, he foresaw that they are getting stronger, and he destroyed them. And after that, Vegeta shed tears and he passed away. At that moment, I hated Frieza. At that moment, I'm like, man, I cannot wait. Okay? I cannot wait for Goku to whoop this man's ass. This man has caused a lot of problem. Remember, Frieza started killing. As soon as he arrived, like he killed the elders from the okay, I'm starting to forget the I think there is the Saiyan Saga, and then there is Frieza Saga, and then Piccolo's planet. You know what I'm trying to say? I've forgotten the terms. So he killed a lot of elders on that planet. And then, of course, Vegeta. I hated Frieza. I really, really hated him. So Frieza is my number one anime villain of all time. Now we got Swag on the chat. What's good, Swag? How you doing? I've been doing all right. So the second villain that I have on the list is Aku. Now I know that some of you, Adult Swim or Cartoon Network or anything outside Japan televised animation is not anime, but to me, Cartoon Network, or let me say Adult Swim, such as Samurai Jack, to me that's anime because it's animation to me. So to me that's animation. If it's not to you, I can understand. No hard feelings, but Aku is the second on the list. Now, why Aku? Why anybody else but Aku? Well, it's very simple. Aku was the reason why Samurai Jack is famous. The impact Aku had on the show was just top notch. And bless the soul of the man that played Aku's character. I know the last season he wasn't around because unfortunately he passed away, so someone had to replace him. The final season of Samurai Jack wasn't played by the original voiceover that did Aku. So shout out to the guy, the man who was behind that character, the voiceover behind Aku's character, because without Aku, I'm not sure if Samurai Jack, without the person that played that voiceover that made it what it is, I'm not sure if Samurai Jack would have been a beloved or a loved cartoon or anime as it should be. as it would have been. And the reason why I picked Aku as my number 2 on the list is the fact that Aku was the carbon copy of evil. He was evil from the start, from his first conception. When he lost a battle against deities and they cast him away and he landed on planet Earth, as soon as he touched Earth, he started causing chaos. The ground started splitting. This gooey, dark, liquid thing started to spread all over the town, all over. And anything it touches, it consumes. Aku, although at the time, we can tell that it's evil, but Aku haven't manifested into a thing that can actually speak, right? Because during the time the deities were fighting him in space or in heavens or whatever, he was just an entity, a liquid entity form that is evil. So the deities casted the evil down and he fell on earth. And as he spreads, he continued to cause calamities. He continued to cause chaos. Trees were dying. Animals were being consumed. Things were just bad. It was just messing up everywhere. So what happened? Samurai Jack's father went to seek out what is going on, and they were able to enchant some type of hocus pocus in Samurai Jack's father's arrow, and he shot it right at that liquid goo, and the liquid goo then transfigured into an entity that can actually speak, thus Aku. And when Aku finally made his appearance, he told Samurai Jack's father that, I don't know, I was doing my thing, but your hocus pocus actually freed me. But then again, I'm not sure if he freed him, because all that did was construct his essence into Aku, because the damn thing was spreading all over, and anything it touched, it just destroys it. So that hocus pocus enchantment actually consumed and compressed it right into a deity. Of course, Samurai Jack's father didn't win the first time, and he went and got this enchantment from the heavens or whatever, and they made that sword out of the righteousness of Samurai Jack's father's heart. Out of the righteousness out of his heart, the blade was formed, and the rest is history. And Aku became a villain and died as a villain. So let me look at the chat real quick. Yeah, okay. So Aku is my number 2 character. Then my number 3 is All for One. Now, All for One wasn't supposed to be in this list. All for One was not supposed to make this list, but as life would have it, out of providence, All for One has made the list. Now, why All for One? Why did All for One make the number 3? All for One is simply an essence, or let me say, an embodiment of evil. All for One was a tyrant, although his tyrant level is not planet devastation level, but you would have gotten to it. Him taking over Shigaraki's body, that actually kind of made him a planetary devastation level, because with Shigaraki's quirk of decay, it wouldn't destroy the planet, it won't blow up the planet, but it can destroy it. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say. So can we debate that All for One taking over Shigaraki's body made him a planetary devastator, or does it make him a planet destroyer? Now, destroying a planet can come in different form. You know, it's not always about blowing up the planet. Planet devastation can also come from decaying the planet so that there's no living thing that can survive in the planet. Although if you remove the person that decayed the planet will eventually heal itself. But with Shigaraki's quirk and All for One hijacking that body, that's a power of decay. So All for One from the get-go is a menace of evil. This man was unalived. He was defeated thanks to Bakugo. But for some particular reason, his resiliency is unquestionable. All for One's depth, his resolve, is one of the strongest conviction that I've ever seen. You know, you just can't, it's hard to put this man down. And when you think you had him, his conviction, his resolve just makes him to continue fighting. This man fought even after death. He literally invaded the previous one for all predecessors in the cosmic realm of things. You know, in the spiritual cosmic realm, he invaded their realm, their hideout, their territory, their sanctuary, and stole Danger Sense. And all the rest of them can do is open their mouth and do nothing about it. He literally invaded their sanctuary where nobody else should have the right to invade. He found it, invaded it, and took something like it's almost like someone coming barging into your house, right? Someone barges into your house and took something tangible out of your house. And all you can do is open your mouth in shock and do absolutely nothing about it. The previous All for One could not do anything about it. They just sat there and watched, and he stole Danger Sense. Not only that he stole Danger Sense, he gave it to Shigaraki. They couldn't do a goddamn thing about it. And not only did he give it to Shigaraki, he ended up hijacking Shigaraki's body. If that is not a true villain, and then of course he died as a true villain, of course, because all the villains that I have named, each and every one of the villains on my list started out as a villain and died as a villain. To me, that is what makes them or makes a villain a true villain. I'm not in the debate of saying, oh, Aizen is not a true villain. Meruem is not a true villain. So that's why they are not on the list. You know? So let me go to the chat real quick. Yeah, Kame was a good character, and thanks to him, because if it wasn't for him awakening Gohan's um potential, I'm not sure. Although eventually Gohan would have ended up awakening his potential anyway, but Guru was able to speed it up, right? Guru, it's not Kame, it's Guru. Guru was able to speed up Gohan's potential. So shout out to him anyway. So the number 3 on my list is Griffith. Actually, I'm going to post my list, and you guys can let me know your list as well. I'm going to post my list, and as we go through it, you guys will what the hell? One second, guys. I'm You know what? I'll do it one by one. And afterwards, you guys can give me your top 10 list villain of all time if you want. Or maybe I should do it towards the end. No, scratch that. Scratch that. So, number 3 is Griffith from Berserk. Do you guys think I should put it all at once right now and while I go through it so that you guys can follow up? If you want me to put them all right now, my top 10 villains of all time, because I'm planning on putting them out later after I'm done. But if you want me to do it now, let me know on the chat. So the third one is Griffith. Why Griffith? Well, Berserk is one of my favorite shows of all time. And when I started out watching Berserk, I watched the first version. And the first version, as you know, if you're a Berserk fan, the animation wasn't anything good to talk about. But you know, I'm a 90s baby. We come up not having much, right? All the 90s kids, the animation that we got, some of them were all right, some of them not so much. But the one thing I can say about 90s anime was they give you a good storyline. And Berserk is one of those anime that actually, if you ignore the animation and pay attention to the storyline, you will come out enjoying the show. So Berserk is one of those anime. Now, Griffith, of course, who is a true villain to me, the fact everything Griffith did on Berserk, from the moment we can tell that there's something mysterious about him, to the point he led his band of brothers into a massacre, a festival of bloodshed towards the end. And what sealed his character to me as a true villain was not only the fact that he is still a villain, but the fact that he did what he did to Guts in front of him, which is stripping Casca naked. To me, that scene traumatized me a little bit. Like that scene, I will never forget that scene. And I believe every Berserk fan still talks about that scene till today because it's one of the scenes. Because I tell you, I kid you not, after I watched that scene, I sat around and I thought about it for a moment, how messed up it was. That rape, that was messed up to it. That was messed up to the highest order of degree. You know, Griffith transfiguring and transforming, becoming Phantom, and to spite Guts. And the thing is, Guts didn't really do anything to him. You know, they started out. Griffith was the stronger one at first, but due to the fact that he started engaging himself into politics, into, you know, debating and attending meetings and gathering with kings and all these higher ups, he wasn't training, while Guts continued to train to hone his skill. While he was doing the debate, while he was doing politics, Guts was busy doing the fighting. So eventually, of course, Guts will surpass him in terms of strength, in terms of knowledge, in terms of skill. And when he came to a point where Guts said, you know what? Thank you for what you've done for me. And we've done a lot together, but I think it's time I go out on my own. I want to do my own thing now. I see you, you know, you're doing your own thing. You want to, you know, but it's time for me to do my own thing. And of course, Griffith couldn't handle it because he thinks that he owns Guts. But Guts had to let him know, hey, buddy, You don't own me, and I don't own you. And that created a rift in their relationship. And Griffith said, okay, if you can defeat me, we're going to duel about it. If I defeat you, you stay with the band of brothers. You stay. If you defeat me, you are allowed. You're free. Right? And of course, Griffith thought it was before because they did duel the first time they met. If you guys remember, the first time Guts met Griffith, they dueled and Griffith won that duel. And that was the reason why Guts joined the crew. So this time, Guts wants to go. And to go, you're going to have to duel me again. If I defeat you, you stay. If you defeat me, you're allowed to go. And so, of course, Guts was able to defeat Griffith in that duel. And even before that second duel happened, Casca and Guts have now gotten very, very close, you know? And Casca finds herself in a split decision. She finds herself in a dilemma because she has feeling for Guts, but at the same time, she also has loyalty to Griffith. And at that point, due to the fact that Griffith lost that duel, it traumatized him. He wasn't himself anymore. And one thing led to the other. He became in a vulnerable position. He finds himself in a vulnerable position. And Casca is taking care of him. But Casca loves Guts, but she has undiluted loyalty to Griffith. And Griffith could see that Casca is going to leave him at some point because Casca loves Guts and wants to stay with Guts. And the band of brothers as well, if it really comes down to it, they would probably side with Guts. So Guts, his influence, right? His personality has won the band of brothers because he is a person that really, really loves his comrades. He sticks out his neck for them. And of course, Griffith, being a child of promise, the promise of evil, I call it, ended up taking the band of brothers, and the whole thing happened. He literally sacrificed every one of them. That scene was just a messed up scene, man. From the start of it till the end, to the point where Griffith becomes Phantom, strips Casca naked, looking at Guts in the eye, like that. Please bring Berserk back. Berserk needs to come back. I'm serious. Berserk needs to come back. That scene, Griffith looking at Guts in the eye while raping Casca. That is a brutal scene. It traumatized me a little bit. I've passed it, but I don't think it's a scene I want to rewatch. No. I don't want to rewatch that scene ever again because the flow and the reasoning and the hate and the spite and everything that happened during that scene, you can tell Griffith looking at Guts in the eye while Guts was being held back by those demons. He couldn't do anything. He's trying to get out of their grip, but he just couldn't. And because of that, he lost an eye because he wanted to, and he did break free. But before he could get to Griffith, they knocked him down. That scene was a horrible scene. I watched it once, and I didn't want to watch it again. And it's even worse when you watch the movie, because the movie came in 3 parts, right? Because they ended up making a movie. The animation was better and everything. And I watched that scene the second time, actually. The second time I watched it, the graphic was even way more vivid than than the first one. So Griffith that act solidified his place in my top 10 list as a true villain. So we got Griffith down. The fourth person is Fused Zamasu, Dragon Ball Super. Fused Zamasu, Dragon Ball Super. Now, why Fused Zamasu, Dragon Ball Super? Well, it's very simple. I have been a fan of Dragon Ball for a very long time. The getting acquainted with Dragon Ball and Goku and his adventures and his physicality, his workout routine, and his resolve for training and his addiction with training and getting better, getting stronger. The whole concept of Dragon Ball is to never stay behind. The whole concept of Goku and Vegeta, their rival is we have to push each other to be better than we were before. Every day is a new day for us to get stronger. So I kind of adopted that lifestyle. Of course, you have Bruce Lee as well, that helped me in that journey. And you have The Rock as well. So, the impact of Dragon Ball has done good to me over the years. So why Fuse Zamasu? Fuse Zamasu is simply because Zamasu as a single person or a single deity started out hating mortals. Okay? He believes that there is no reason why humans can be or mortals can be dealing with deities. They are low class people. They are very low class. There's no way mortals can be hanging out or being seen with deity, that they are such a low level species. And that drove his ambition so much so that he killed or he unalived his teacher, got the ring, used it to summon, to make a wish, to make himself immortal, and went back and went back in time or forward in time and stole Goku's body. Right? He stole Goku's body, used it to summon and get another Zamasu, if I'm not mistaken. And the fuse happened during the time when Goku and Vegeta were fighting Zamasu and Black Goku. So because it has gotten to a point where the Saiyans are starting to overpower them, they fused and became Fused Zamasu. Fused Zamasu was a tyrant. Zamasu alone is already a tyrant, but when you understand that Black Goku is Zamasu in there, who just happens to have Goku's body and Goku's face, but both of them are Zamasu. One looks like Goku, but evil Goku, and the other one looks the way he should look. So when they fused, they became Fused Zamasu, and he just wouldn't die. He just wouldn't die. The last fight he had was against Trunks, because Trunks was able to use his sword to split him into two, and he exploded. Everybody thought he was done. It's done with. And he became some type of a virus. Not just any other virus. No. He wasn't just any other virus. He became a cosmic virus. A virus that didn't just take over Earth. It's a virus that took over the whole entire universe. That's just how powerful he was. A virus that took on the whole entire cosmos. It's a terrifying thing if you really think about it, to see a bunch of faces of one person laughing, trauma, talking, smack, just laughing, just being emo-like, just laughing and just laughing at you. In order for him to be defeated, Zeno had to step in. Thanks to Goku having that button. He pushed that button to summon Zeno, and Zeno looked up and said, this is bad for the cosmos. I can't have this type of entity taking over the whole cosmos for what? You know? And Zeno knowing actually that scene, that particular scene when Zeno erased that universe, that literally showed, when Beerus talked about Zeno's anger, I didn't really realize how terrifying it was, you know, until that scene. You see, Zeno could have saved that planet if he wanted to. He could have saved the whole universe, that universe, if he wanted to. He could have, right? But due to his anger, because what Zamasu has done is out of order. And we know the reason why the other universes were destroyed because they did not fall in line with the rules and regulation that Zeno has set for them. That was the reason why they were all erased, including with their gods of destructions. Right? Even though Zeno could have just take out the god of destructions or the angels that were in cahoots with those god of destruction to go outside the rules and regulation, Zeno didn't deal with all of that. He just erased all of them. So you can just understand where in a universe, let's say universe 7, let's say Whis and Beerus were doing something evil, which goes outside Zeno's rules and regulation. Instead of Zeno to deal with the two people that did something wrong, right? Zeno would wipe out the whole entire universe 7 just because they have how do you say it? They have gone not only like there's a word that I'm trying. They have spoiled the universe, right? He just erased the whole entire universe 7. Just think about that. Instead of dealing with Whis and Beerus, Zeno would just erase the whole entire universe 7. So you can just understand. When Beerus was going on about telling Goku, you don't know how mad this thing gets, this deity, when he gets mad, it's not your ordinary, like he just doesn't deal with that one person that went against the rules and regulation. The whole entire universe will suffer for one person's misbehavior. So Zeno just erased the whole entire universe when Goku summoned them. And Goku didn't really summon Zeno to erase the universe. Goku understood that there's nothing he can do to stop Fuse Zamasu. This man has taken over the whole planet, the whole cosmos. And I think the only person I can think about to stop him is Zeno. So he pressed the button, not knowing that Zeno is going to destroy the whole entire thing just because of one person. Well, you can say it's two because it's Fuse Zamasu in one body and just causing problem. But, the whole universe paid for it, right? So Fuse Zamasu, it took Zeno to stop him. And up until now, we don't know how strong Zeno is. We know that he is the ultimate powerhouse in Dragon Ball Super right now. You have him, you have the angels, you have you have him, you have the Grand Priest, you have the angels, you have the gods of destructions, then the Kais and everybody else. So yeah, Fuse Zamasu makes my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Makes the 5th list. So let's go to the 6th person on the list. The 6th person on the list is Kid Buu. Kid Buu was scary when I watched Dragon Ball Z Buu Saga arc for the very first time. When he was revived, he was a foolish, fatso, but where I started to fear Kid Buu was when Goku and Vegeta were fighting. As soon as Kid Buu was revived and Kid Buu kicked, what's his name again? Deborah. Because as soon as Kid Buu was revived, the Bora saw that, is this the person that I've been risking my life for this whole time? Babidi, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, is this the goofy, fatso, fat ass, balloon buffoon that I've been risking my life fighting these Saiyans and everything else we've done to get here? Get out of here, man. This this thing is a bomb. This thing is a jamoke, right? And he went after Boo, the Fat Boo, not knowing how depth and how strong Fat Boo is. When Fat Boo threw that kick and kicked the Bora, in that moment, Goku and Vegeta felt his power. And Goku was stunned. Like, he was like, what the hell was that just now? Right? Even although Vegeta tried to neglect it, Vegeta tried to not let it, because he wanted to fight Goku, but Goku was stunned. And Goku said something between something between this line. He said, his power is unimaginable. It's like a hole that never stops, like something within that line, right? Goku was terrified. And he asked Vegeta, we have to stop doing this now. We have to work together. We cannot defeat this thing alone. We need help. Goku was scared. Goku was literally terrified of Boo. Now, of course, with the evolution, and he then turns into Kid Buu. And when Kid Buu made his conception, Kid Buu doesn't play. Kid Buu just blew up the whole planet Earth. And out of spite, due to the fact he didn't know where the Saiyans were, because the Saiyans, he knew that the Saiyans are still alive. He knew that the Saiyans eluded him because they were able to get away. They were able to get out of harm's way before planet Earth destroyed. So he knew that they're still alive. So each planet, oh man, my goodness, each planet Kid Buu goes to, he blows it up. It's like a kid with candy. He blew up every planet that he goes in. And okay, the terrible thing or the terrifying thing is this. Not only does he blow up that planet, he absorbed the cosmic energy from that planet, which evidently makes him stronger, right? He takes our planet when he revives himself, right? Because he will blow up into bits and pieces, right? When he reforms and regenerates himself, he takes a piece of that planet's energy. Every planet he went out, he was blowing it up, looking for Goku and Vegeta. So what did Goku and Vegeta do? They had to raise their power in order to bring him to the Kai or the Supreme Kai planet. And of course, he was a menace. Kid Buu and the way he fights, it's very orthodox. You just don't know what's going to happen. I remember when him and Goku were fighting and they started biting each other. That's another level of fighting that is that I haven't seen in a long time. They were just biting each other. So and of course, a true villain, Kid Buu, died as a villain. See? So every villain on my list are true villains, which means they start off as villains and they ended as a villain. That is a true villain. And I know my list and your list may not be the same, but if your villain is a true villain, I'm there with you. Whether if it is anybody else out there, any other villain out there on other animes, right? So that ends number 6 on the list. The number 7 on my list is Ryomen, Sukuna. Sukuna makes the number 7 on my list. Why? That Shibuya arc was it was messed up. It was really, really messed up. That Shibuya incident. Now, at the moment, Itadori ate those fingers. And the moment Sekuno made his first conception, you can tell that this deity is not to be messed with. I mean, this deity had Itadori's heart ripped out of his body, crushed, if I'm not mistaken, and he was able to revive. And that Shibuya incident solidified Sekuno on my list, and for the fact that he is planning something evil with Magumi Fushiguro, and he knows what's about to happen with Kenjaku, because Kenjaku is planning something. Let me just say that Shibuya incident, his fight with Maharaga, or Maharaj, or whatever it's called, that deity, that literally massacred a lot of civilians, like literally taking out buildings, taking out gas stations. They were using cars to fight. Like, it was just a massacre. And I'm really glad that Mappa literally showed us the map of that district area. That Shibuya area showed us the amount of dent, the amount of destruction that area had. Like, because when you look at the map, you see there's lights everywhere, and you see a huge area where there's no light. That's literally Shibuya, right? The destruction that went on, even Itadori himself still have not gotten over that incident. He's still traumatized in a big way. The trauma that boy is going through is not a small thing, right? So, and the fact that Sekuno just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. And for the fact that everything they're doing, he's watching and listening, right? Because he's inside Itadori. He's listening to everything that they're doing. Also makes this whole mission, it's not really a secret, really, because Sekuno is listening. Anyway, I'm not sure if Sekuno is going to be defeated as a villain, but I have a strong feeling he will be defeated, or whoever is going to defeat him, he will go down as a villain, because a deity like Sekuno is not changing. So that makes him my 7th on the list. Now, my 8th on the list is Kaguya Otsutsuki from Naruto Shippuden arc. I would have picked Madara. I know some of you guys are saying, what? Like, what do you mean Kaguya? I would say Madara. No. The reason why I didn't pick Madara, there's a good reason, is simply because Madara wouldn't have existed. Not like Madara's villain. Madara as a villain wouldn't have existed or wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Kaguya. Kaguya was the reason the whole shinobi were fighting each other. Kaguya was the reason the whole shinobi war, the first ninja war, the second ninja war, the third ninja war, and the fourth ninja war happened. It was because of Kaguya. Because during the time she was defeated by her two sons, before she was sealed, she gave birth to something. She gave birth to Black Zetsu. And at the time, Hagoromo and his brother didn't notice that Kaguya spawned something else before she was sealed. They didn't catch it. Even with their eyes, the Sharingan, the Mangekyo Sharingan, the Rinnegan, Hinata's eyes, um, I mean, what is it called again? You know, even with their eyes, they couldn't catch that Kaguya spawned, gave birth to their third, to the third brother. You know, they didn't catch it with all their eyes. Byakugan, yes, Byakugan, that's what it's called. Even with Byakugan, Haguromo's brother couldn't see that Kaguya spawned another of their sibling. That is so messed up. And Kaguya's will to be revived and continue where she left off was embedded inside Black Zetsu. It was the only reason Black Zetsu existed, because the birth of Black Zetsu was out of destitute of Kaguya. So which means Madara as a villain wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for Kaguya, who gave birth to Black Zetsu, who then went on to cause a lot of wars, rewrite shit, made Madara think that he is the be-all, end-all, confused Madara, used Madara while Madara was using Obito, right? He was the reason of the whole thing. Well, she was the reason, because she gave birth to Black Zetsu, because Black Zetsu was just messed up the whole shinobi world, right? And the fact that Black Zetsu lived that long and was still living, and again, Black Zetsu existed out of the destitute of Kaguya. And you would think Hagoromo got old and died. His brother, who took their sealed mother to the moon to keep an eye on her, right, also got old and died. But why didn't Black Zetsu get old and die just like his siblings? Well, you can say that due to the fact that during the time Kaguya was being sealed, her destitute to be revived once again gave birth to something that will not age easily. Because Black Zetsu, if they were to reveal how old he really is, I mean, you can imagine during Hagoromo time, right, when they were young, when they defeated their mother, all the way, the fourth Ninja War, the second Ninja War, the third Ninja War, and the fourth Ninja War. Black Zetsu has lived through all of this, scheming, building, rewriting histories, causing problems against nations, because that was Black Zetsu's doing. He even said it. It took a long time. It took a very long time, but I got it done. Right? He worked hard, super hard, to cause chaos. The first one, the second war, the third war, he was the one causing all these chaos, making things happen. Right? So Kaguya is more of a true villain to me. Of course, Madara is the famous one. Madara is a good villain, but to me, he wouldn't have existed as a villain if it wasn't for Kaguya, because the whole reason why Madara believed that he got something else to look forward to, because after his defeat, which again, it was the construct of Black Zetsu anyways, courtesy of Kaguya, when Hashirama beat Madara and Madara decides to come back to the Hidden Leaf, and they worked together as brothers to lead the nation, right? And at one point, of course, Hashirama's younger brother, what's his name, Tobirama, couldn't stand Madara, and Madara himself, based on everything he has gone through, he had that villain energy. I'm not gonna lie, he had the presence. Madara has a presence, and him being a villain, it stood out. The kids will look at him and get scared just because of his personality. Nobody was coming close to him for advice. Kids would see him and they'll run away. The only person he got along in the village was Hashirama. And Tobirama was keeping a close eye on Madara because he knows Madara is not to be trusted. And of course, what sealed the deal was Madara heard Tobirama and Hashirama discussing on what they're going to do with the rest of Uchiha clan, that Madara being around is going to create another rift. The rift is already there, but if Madara continues to hang out, the other Uchiha clan that lost family member or whatever, it could motivate them to cause another war. And they can't afford another war right now because they're trying to rebuild the village, right? All other nations have already gone ahead and created a Hokage, starting to move forward in life. They need to stop this war. The Senju clan and the Uchiha clan needs to stop this war, right? And Madara cannot be the Hokage. He cannot take over after you've gone. He cannot succeed you because it's going to cause a rift to create another war within the village, and we can't afford that. And also based on the fact that the Uchiha clan, their eyes, that Sharingan is a deadly force of nature. Tobirama of course, can take on 1, 2, 3 of Uchiha clans, but when there's so many of them using their Sharingan, and let's not forget, the more life that they lose, the more they go through big trauma, the more their eyes develop. The more advanced it becomes. So Tobirama it's felt that Madara cannot be the next Hokage because he has killed a lot of our brethren, and not just the village, but he has killed a lot of our family. And of course, Madara overheard it and decided, you know what? Ain't no way this village is gonna accept me. I feel like I'm alone here. There's nothing for me here. You're like a brother to me. Everybody loves you. You have everything going, even though we started this village, but there's nothing for me here. And if you happen to die, the counselors will appoint your brother and not me. They will easily appoint anybody else but me. And for that, I don't feel like there's anything for me here. And of course, Madara went on in search of power because in the Hidden Leaf village, there was nothing there for him. He believed that since there's nothing here for me, I've lost my family, my father, my mother, my brothers, they've all gone. Even my fellow clan members will not follow me because they don't want another war. Some of them will, but most of them will not. So I have to go in search of power. And he stumbled upon this stone, which of course, Black Zetsu has rewritten everything, set it up in a way where Madara will see it, and then think that he is the be-all end-all, not knowing that he was being used. You know what I mean? So Kaguya is more, I will pick her over Madara, even though Madara is famous as a villain, but I would take Kaguya over Madara because once again, Madara wouldn't have been a villain in the first place if it wasn't for Kaguya and Black Zetsu. So, next is the ninth. The ninth member of my top villain of all time, anime villain of all time, is Dio Brando. Dio Brando is one of my favorite villain of all time. Why? Well, this one is easy. If you are a Jojo Bizarre fan, you know and you understand that the reason why JoJo's Bizarre is one of the famous anime and has his own place in the anime world, in the anime community, Dio Brando has a lot to do with it. Dio lived from the time of Jonathan, the first arc, right? Phantom Blood, JoJo's Bizarre, season 1. And his upbringing was rough, very rough. He grew up poor. His father was a drunkard, a bum, a loser, and always has a lot of hate inside him. And as time went on, I think Dio killed his father, if I'm not mistaken, right? Dio unalived his father, and he was then adopted by Joestar's family. And when he arrived, he saw that, look at this pub. Look at Jonathan. He had everything. You know, he had it all. He's born with golden spoon shoved upon his ass, shoved in his ass. Yeah, you know, like, I'm gonna make his life miserable. You know, Dio adopted the hate his father had, and he made sure Dio spent his life making sure that anything Jonathan loves, he would destroy it. But to Jonathan had a good heart. Even while Dio was being evil, Jonathan still showed him mercy. You know? So Dio lived on through Phantom Blood, the first season. He also lived through Battle Tendency. He also lived through Stardust Crusaders. He was stopped on Stardust Crusaders. So Dio lived for 100 years, 100 and something years. I think I did a vlog about it. I think it was the live stream that I did on JoJo's Bizarre Steel Ball Run, the latest trailer. I talked about it briefly. So Dio started out as a villain and was defeated as a villain. That is what makes him a true villain in my book. Like I said, all the characters on my list, each and every one of them are what you call a true villain. A villain that starts out as a villain and ended as a villain. To me, that is a true villain. So Dio makes the number 9, and the number 10 on the list. This one was a little hard because I was thinking I was going to go with Yujiro Hanma from Baki. But then again, I looked into JoJo's Bizarre one more time, and there is a character on JoJo's Bizarre that his villain was quite interesting. His name is Kira. The 4th season Diamond is Unbreakable. Kira is a villain from JoJo's Bizarre from the 4th season Diamond is Unbreakable, who fought Josuke, and his character was Medicine. He's a type, if you've watched Jeffrey Dahmer, all this homicide and, you know, people that unalives people and takes their body parts and all of that stuff, that's Kira. They literally showcase Jeffrey Dahmer with Kira. You know, even he would take the women that he unalived, he would take their body parts, their hand, and go on a date with a rotten hand. This man will literally go on a picnic date with rotten hand and caress it, clean it, wash it, kiss it. You know, it is crazy how Kira was depicted and the whole entirety of his character. And when I did the poll that I did a couple of days ago, Kira or Develo, I totally understand why JoJo's Bizarre fan would choose Kira, because not only that we got more screen time with Kira from JoJo's Bizarre, Develo, we didn't really see him until towards the end of Golden Wind. But Joino Giovanna was dealing with Develo's underlines, right? Develo didn't show up until towards the end. And even when he did show up, he did make some scenes. He did rack shit up. He did cause a havoc on everybody. He did make life hard for everybody. But then again, Kira was more of a character that is more relatable. You know, Kira was more relatable because we got more screen time from him. and his character was genuinely more relatable. He is a psychopath who goes on a wicked gender, going after women, will probably, make them to trust him and then unalives them, right? So he was more relatable. So that's why I understand why people would choose Kira over Divolo. So Kira makes the 10th person on the list. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my list. There you have it. My top 10. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is my top 10 villain list, anime villain of all time. So, um, if you're going to watch this live stream, let me know your top 10 anime list. Is it the same as mine? Or is yours a lot different than mine? But I know, rest assured, that my list, you will probably have one or two on your own list, right? The same character on your own list. So there you have it. That's my top 10 anime villain list of all time. You guys can let me know your own top 10 list as well. That would be nice and we can talk about it. And if you have any question to ask me, I will definitely answer it to you. Like I said, this list, I compiled this list because I needed to talk about it. And as well, each and every character started out as a villain and was defeated as a villain. My list is what you call a true villain. Villains that never wavered from their resolve, from their conviction. They didn't become a good guy. They didn't change their ambition. They were so locked in on their character to be a villain and to end as a villain. That is a true villain to me. And that's the reason why I made my list. If your list is a little different from mine, that's okay. Like I said, Aizen is not a true villain to me. Meruem is not a true villain to me because they ended up changing their course, their conviction into a different conviction and a different resolve. So let me quickly go through the chat. Yeah, Goku Black. I don't think. See, I thought about Goku Black, right? But then again, I thought, okay, there wouldn't be a Goku Black without Zamasu, right? Because inside the body of Goku Black is Zamasu that inhabits that body. It's almost like the same thing with Kaguya and Madara. Most anime fans will choose Madara over Kaguya, but then again, they forget that Madara would not have been a villain if it wasn't for the stigma Kaguya left before she was sealed. Because everything that happened on Naruto, the wars that went on, was orchestrated by Black Zetsu in order to revive his mother, right? It took 100, I'm not sure, I think 100 years or over 100 years, over 200 years or 300 years to revive Kaguya. All of that, all those wars, all those killing, all the village fighting, all the chaos that happened in Naruto, all of that was due to the fact that Black Zetsu was working hard to revive Kaguya. So I would say I would pick Kaguya over Madara, even though Madara is the famous one. But he wouldn't be Madara without Kaguya because Kaguya gave birth to Black Zetsu, who then changed and rewrite the history and gave Madara the idea that he could be the be all end all. And Madara the whole time was being used. So let me know your own list, ladies and gentlemen. Goku should be on the list based on Topo. Ah, come on. Goku, you can, if you want to talk about, you can say Black Goku, then yeah, then, or Talus, who kind of looks like Goku. But no, Goku wouldn't be on the list. So, Swag, what is your top 10 anime villains of all time? Do you have your own list? Have you compiled your list yet? If you guys don't have top 10, you can drop top 5. Your top 5 anime villain of all time. I don't understand how Goku would be a villain in the multi universe. I don't understand. Goku has a kind heart. Goku is not a villain. I don't know what those guys are smoking though. Do you guys have your villain list? Your top 3, top 4, top 5, top 10? Please put it on the chat. And again, my list is not compiled based on how strong they are or their hex or their abilities. It's just the impact they had on the show and their resolve and their conviction stayed from the beginning all the way to the end. That's my list. This is not a tier ranking list on the strongest anime villain. This is just their personality, their character, and their conviction from the beginning till the end. Okay, it looks like we got Swag. Swag got a top list. Kira, Broly, Baby Vegeta, Frieza, Cell. Okay. That is a good list because each and every one of those characters became a villain or started out as a villain and ended as a villain. Although Baby Vegeta is kind of questionable because Baby Vegeta is still kind of Vegeta, only that he has this cell inside his brain that took over Vegeta's body. So I would say baby instead of baby Vegeta because when baby was casted out of Vegeta's body, he then became only baby instead of baby Vegeta. So it's tricky with that one. It's very tricky because baby Vegeta is still Vegeta and Vegeta is no longer a villain. right? He started out as a villain, but he's no longer a villain. Now, with Baby Vegeta saga, I would say baby instead of baby Vegeta. Although you're kind of right in a way because until he was pushed out of Vegeta's body, he was baby Vegeta. But then again, it's really not. I would say, yeah, I would still choose baby instead of baby Vegeta. But other than that, your list is superb. Each and every one of them. And when you say Broly, I know that you're referring to DBZ Broly. So started out as a villain and ended as a villain. Cell as well started out as a villain, ended as a villain. As a villain, Kira, I just talked about him from JoJo's Bizarre. Diamond is unbreakable. Um, hmm. I wouldn't say that I'm gonna apply wisdom with what people are saying about Goku. That Goku is a villain based on his love, his desire to fight, brought aliens into planet Earth. I don't think that makes him a villain. In fact, if it wasn't for Goku, planet Earth would have ceased to exist. Goku is the only is one defending planet Earth. You know, Goku didn't bring King Piccolo. You understand what I'm trying to say? Goku didn't bring King Piccolo. King Piccolo arrived on Earth, right? And of course, you can say due to the fact that Goku existed was the reason why the Saiyan saga happened because the Saiyans know, Vegeta knows that Kakarot was sent on planet Earth. But then again, the higher question is if Goku wasn't on planet Earth, at one point Frieza will run into planet Earth. And who is going to stop Frieza? You know, yes, they can say it's because of Goku's love for fighting that brought alien to planet Earth, but at the same time, he is also the one saving planet Earth most of the time. Vegeta saved planet Earth maybe once or twice, right? First time him saving planet Earth was when he blew up himself against Fat Boo. The second time was when he fought Frieza, right? So I don't think that's true. Yeah. The Saiyan existed on planet Earth, which is the reason why the Saiyan saga happened, then the Namek saga, then every other arc. But at the same time, he's the only one saving the planet. Could you imagine what would happen if Beerus comes to planet Earth and somebody pisses him off? He would just blow up the planet. No question. If Goku didn't exist, eventually Frieza will find planet Earth, whether we like it or not. And when that happened, who's going to save Earth? I mean, it might not even be Frieza. It might be Vegeta or like one of the Saiyans or one of Frieza's conquering crew comes to planet Earth. Who is going to save Earth? So I really, come on, I don't believe that. Yes, Goku is stupid sometimes, but when it comes down, when the chips are down, Goku is always the one sticking his neck out. This man has literally blew himself up, sacrificed himself so many times to save planet Earth. So he's not a villain to me. Yeah, he can be stupid sometimes, but when the chips are down, everybody looks at Goku to do something. You know, they're not really looking at Vegeta. Well, things are starting to slowly change. Vegeta is stepping up the game now. From what I've been hearing, the ultra ego thing is going to be an interesting concept. So I don't think, due to the fact that Goku is stupid sometimes, is the reason why it brought danger to planet Earth. No. Goku didn't ask to come to Earth. He came to Earth as a baby to help Frieza conquer planet Earth. It was actually by grace. By one grace like that is the reason why Goku didn't take over Earth. You know? Now you can say that Goku not taking out Frieza when he should have taken out Frieza allowed Frieza to come to Earth or to know where Earth is. Or Goku running into Frieza made Frieza realize, oh, okay, there's actually a place called Earth and I'm going to go destroy it. But I don't think that makes Goku a villain in my book. That does not make Goku a villain. Oh, okay. Goku put in the tournament of power. Okay. I can see that idea. Goku bringing the idea to Zeno to do tournament of power in order to fight powerful opponents, to test his ability. Well, does that make Goku a villain? I would say that makes him an anti-hero and not a villain. Because a villain, I don't think that makes Goku a villain. That I would say it makes him an anti-hero, if you want to talk about it, because anti-hero is neither a villain or a hero. It's just a personality a character that likes doing their own thing. They don't want to offend anybody, but if a fight comes to them, they're gonna deal with it. But they don't want to fight, or they just like to do their own thing and don't want to be bothered. It's almost the same thing as Aizen. Aizen Sosuke started out as a villain, but then again, in his conviction to go to the Soul King's palace to change things on and whatnot, he's only doing it because he thinks that things needs to be changed. So, and in the end, we found out that Aizen is not a villain. He's more of an anti-hero. An anti-villain or whatever, however you want to define his character now. He's not a true villain. So Goku, if you say he's a villain, I would say he's not a true villain. Rather, he's an anti-hero or an anti-villain or however you want to describe it. Not a true villain. Okay. Goku challenged Zamasu, created Zamasus to hate mortals. I don't think that's the case. Zamasu has always hated mortals. Even before Goku came. Before he met Goku, Zamasu has always, even his teacher said it. That's Zamasu's character. Zamasu has always felt that Kais and deities should not be in the same room as mortals, that they are a lower species, right? Of course, you can say that Goku challenging him and getting the absolute best of Zamasu created a bigger rift, which is the reason why Zamasu felt that he needs to do something about mortals. Because there's no way a mortal challenged me and actually got the best of me. I'm not going to let it slide. You can say that, but then again, Goku is a martial art. He's a martial artist. would you say that Bruce Lee is a villain just because he would go to dojos and train and challenge masters to test his might? Would you say that Jet Li or Michael J. White challenging someone to a fight makes him a villain? No, if you're a martial artist, I want to see what you can do. That doesn't make somebody a villain. You know, Goku is a martial artist. It's the same thing as Bruce Lee going to dojos and challenging masters and engaging in a martial art competition or a martial art square offs. That doesn't make him a villain. He's just a person that wants to be better, wants to elevate his ability. You know, that's what makes Goku better than Zamasu. That's what Goku's conviction and resolve is what makes him superior than Zamasu, actually. Because from the level where he started off up until now, you can say that he is a person that took his martial arts seriously because during that engagement, he got the absolute best of Zamasu. And Zamasu was shocked and even terrified. How the hell is someone like this getting the best of me? You are below me. How do you know? How are you so strong? In return, that actually makes Goku a better character and a better martial artist than Zamasu. Because he continues to train and evolves and gets better. So that doesn't make Goku a villain. Aura9944. What's your top 10 villain of all time? You can put it on the chat. Goku might be a stupid hero to some, but I would say he is more clever than we actually think. Yes, sometimes he says dumb things and whatnot, but when it comes to fighting, Goku is a genius. Everybody knows this. You know, when chaos starts happening, people will forget that Goku, all the stupid stuff that they may have said about Goku, everybody will forget about it. You realize that when worse comes to worse, everybody will go to the person they call stupid to save the planet. How does that make sense? They will call Goku stupid all they want. But when the chips are down, they will look forward for that stupid person to go save the planet. I don't understand that concept. You know? Yes, Goku can be slow sometimes, but in the overall perspective of his character, he is one of the genius. He is one of the best. Even Vegeta realized it. Vegeta can call him a clown all he wants, but when the chips are down, Vegeta always leaves the fight to Goku to finish it. So how is Goku being stupid? I don't know people, man. Because I feel like people that are calling Goku stupid all the time, they are speaking from two sides of their mouth. You can't call someone stupid, but when the chips are down, you're looking at the same person who you call stupid to save the planet. I don't know why they are speaking through the both of their mouths or something. I don't know. To be fair, the Kais look down on mortals. Kibuto Kai. Yes, you're right. Aura9944. You're definitely right. It wasn't just Zamasu. Kibuto was the one during Dragon Ball Z talking smack about mortals. He didn't believe. He looked down on Gohan so much. He didn't believe that Gohan would have been able to pull that Z sword out. So yes, Kais intend to have that trait because they are upper echelon of deities, right? Even when Kid Supreme Kai, right? When Kid Kai came to planet Earth, if you realize when he first met Goku, you notice how he was looking at Goku, right? He was looking at him as a person who is below him, who like the way they presented Kid Kai at first during that tournament, he looked evil, right? He looks like a person who has evil intention. But then we realize that he's actually here to monitor because they caught wind of what Babudi was about to do. So he came to that tournament to make sure that Babudi does not revive Majin Buu. That's the reason why when Kid Supreme Kai finally saw how strong the Saints are, they were shocked. They did not believe that there's actually strong people or strong warriors on planet Earth, right? So you're right. Kais intend to look down on mortals because they believe that they are below them, which indeed they are below them because they have this mystic powers, right? Each Kai has a mystic ability that they possess, but at the same time, what can you say? There's always gonna be a mortal that's going to be so strong. I mean, look at Jiren. Jiren is not really he's not a deity. He's so strong that he is compared to the god of destruction of his universe, and he's immortal. So Kai needs to realize that there's going to be one or two out of mortals that's going to rival not just the power of Kai's, but at the same time rival the powers of gods of destruction to a degree. Number one is Johan Liebert. Who is that? Oh, from Monster. Okay, I have not seen Monster. So this Johan that you talked about, I guess he's a villain on that show. I haven't seen Monster, but thanks for mentioning your number one. If you have a number two or if you have top five, you can put them on the list. If you have top 10, that's even better. Okay, if you have your top 10 on the list, that's even perfect. You have a dream last night that Dragon Ball will get a remake. Uh, I don't think that should. I mean, I hope that dream doesn't come true. You know, if they're going to do any remake, they should just continue Dragon Ball Super on where they left off because Dimer, I don't. Although we now know that it happened on a different timeline, at the same time, towards the ending of Dimer, they really bombed the show. They left a lot of potholes that, in order to fix it, they're gonna have to change certain things on Dimer. You know, so I'm hoping that we're going to get Dragon Ball Super season two. And I don't think that they're gonna do it the way they did it before. I think if Super is going to come back, I think they're going to do it season per season now. I don't think they're going to give us like 20, 30, 40 episodes. I think they're going to do it season by season. I think they're going to do the same thing Black Clover is about to do. Because if you look at Black Clover, it started from the first episode all the way to 170 episode. So it's going to make its comeback sometime this year. And they're not going to do 170 episodes. They're going to probably do 12 episodes maybe. I wish that they would do 26, but I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure how many episodes that they're going to do, but I'm definitely sure that it's not going to be another 170 episode, right? The best villain in Dragon Ball is Frieza. Even even though I like Cell. Well, Cell is also a good villain. The reason why I didn't pick him is simply because um, I would pick Frieza all day over Cell. Because again, Cell's traits came from a lot of characters, but more so Frieza. Because if you remember, when Cell was talking about his creation, and when he was talking to Krillin and Piccolo on where Dr. Gero got the DNAs, right? Most of them came from King Cole and Frieza. You know, the little bug robot that was watching all the fight that went down, um, most of them came from King Cole and Frieza because Dr. Gero took DNAs from Frieza and King Cole. Now, when you combine King Cole and Frieza's DNA, when you compile that, knowing how evil they are, it's going to surpass Goku and Vegeta, compilation. Because I know Dr. Gero also took DNA from Vegeta when Vegeta came to planet Earth, the same saga, you know? So, mm, I'll say that it's questionable. Goku is not half as smart as them characters intelligence wise. Well, when it comes to battle, when it comes to fights, that's where Goku's intelligence shows up. You know, Goku having a normal conversation and understanding things, he's not very bright in that aspect. But when it comes to fighting, Goku is a genius when it comes to fighting. You know, when it comes to fighting, if you remember when Goku fought Beerus for the very first time, after Goku got the power of Super Saiyan God, the red aura or the red hair, you can see that he would do certain things that shows how intelligent he is. You know, Beerus even said it. I am impressed with your ability. You know, Goku's has the personality to change someone's perspective of him. You know, at first hand, somebody would think Goku is stupid. But once you encounter him in battle, Goku has that aura to change people's perspective, to draw them in. And what I just said has been mentioned severally over and over again, and how brilliant Goku is when it comes to battle, like when it comes to fighting. When it comes to understanding things in a normal circumstances, he's not very bright. But when it comes to fighting, Goku has a way, like you can't. Goku is the only one that made Beerus not to destroy a planet. Think about that for a second. Goku made Beerus change his mind from destroying planet Earth. Let me say it again. Goku made Beerus change his perspective about him and changed his mind from blowing up planet Earth. Every other planet Beerus has gone in to destroy because he is a god of destruction, he spared no one. Goku drew him in with his personality and changed his perspective from destroying planet Earth. You have to be intelligent you have to have a level of intelligence to be able to pull that off. To turn a situation of annihilation, total annihilation, into a situation where you even befriended a god of destruction. Where do you see that happening? That doesn't happen willy-nilly. Well, you can say the other god of destructions have fighters that they deal with, that they talk to, that they use to do their bidding, or they are in correlation with somehow. Example, like Champa. Champa knows about Hit. Champa is not going to go to a planet where Hit is and destroy it because Hit is his favorite assassin. And so is the Saints that resides on Universe 6. Right? So you gotta be a person of interest to a god of destruction. You can't be a stupid person to befriend a god of destruction. It just doesn't happen. Yes, of course, Goku is stupid in a normal conversation and understanding normal things, but when it comes to fighting, he's a smart genius. He made a belief out of Lord Beerus that he befriended Lord Beerus. And Lord Beerus or Beerus is not easily impressed like that. So I don't think people are giving Goku the credit that he desperately, or not, well, not desperately, he deserves. They're not giving him enough credit. Even Vegeta can't do it. Can't do it. The way Goku befriends people, you have to have some type of wisdom and intelligence that goes with it. Even though you may look naive, but actually it's intelligent. Somebody like Vegeta, who is has a lot on his shoulders and a very rigid and very hardcore, cannot befriend somebody like Zeno. Let's understand, Goku befriended Zeno, a deity that can wipe the whole universe off the map. He befriended Zeno with his stupidity. You can call it stupidity all you want, but that's actually intelligence in its own naive tail way. Goku is not afraid of Zeno. And everybody's afraid of Zeno. The whole gods of destruction, they are afraid of Zeno. Even the angels are afraid of Zeno. Goku is the only one who is not afraid of Zeno. Now, of course, you can tell that Goku is stupid, but at the same time, his stupidity is clever. And that's what made Zeno see him as, you know what? You can be my friend because you treat me as a normal person. Even though that's stupid, but at the same time, I don't mind your perception on things. Right? I mean, that's my take on that. Okay, Aura9944, top 5, Johan Lebert from Monster, Griffith, Berserk, Aizen, Madara, M. Bison from okay, Street Fighter. Okay. All right, man. I got you. I got you. I got you. Okay. Johan, I don't know much about. Hopefully, if I have time one of these days, I will look into Monster. I have actually heard a lot of on Monster previously, but I haven't had the time to check out Monster. Griffith, I can understand. Aizen, Aizen is famous, but for me, he is not a true villain, so that's why he's not on my. That's why he's not on my list. Although Aizen's intelligence is off the charts, he's a character that does something knowing what will happen, and that thing that will happen is actually part of his plan. But in the end, he didn't stay a villain, so that's why he is not on my list. And Madara Uchiha, I can totally understand. Madara is one of the famous villains of all time, but I chose Kaguya over him simply because there wouldn't be Madara if it's not for Kaguya and Black Zetsu, right? So even though we got more screen time with Madara Uchiha, but there wouldn't be a Madara, there wouldn't be ninjutsu, actually. All the ninjutsu that we've seen came from Kaguya. Kaguya to Hagoromo, Hagoromo to everybody else. There wouldn't be any ninjutsu or genjutsu, or I mean, there would still be taijutsu, but ninjutsu, genjutsu, there wouldn't be any of that if it wasn't for Kaguya. So to me, she is more of a badass villain than Madara. Although Madara is famous because he got most. It's almost the same thing with Kira from JoJo's Bizarre Diamond is Unbreakable, the fourth season, and Divolo from Golden Wind, right? Divolo came towards the end, but Kira gave us more screen time and is more famous, is more recognized than Divolo. So, but then again, who is a stronger villain? Divolo is a stronger villain, right? But it's almost the same concept. But I will pick Kaguya over Madara because Madara wouldn't have the Sharingan, the Rinnegan, all this stuff if it wasn't for Kaguya in the first place. So there you have it. Yeah, Dragon Ball Super movies has always done well. They have always done well with their movies. Um, yeah, another movie shouldn't be bad. Another movie should be good on Dragon Ball Super. I agree. You hate going to the theater. Why do you hate going to the theater, buddy? Why do you hate going to the theater? Okay, another trailer has been released. All right. I still haven't finished the first season. I think I'm going to watch it on my own. I will finish it on my own and then I will do the reaction on the second season once it comes out. That will be sick. If they give us an OVA, if they give us a series on Vegeta, Vegeta's past, the time he spent with Frieza and Frieza's army, that will actually be interesting. Especially with the animation now, that would be awesome because Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, that is such a nice animation, man. They did well. And Broly's gear and his coloring, man, it was superb, man. It was superb because we saw Broly when he was a kid. I think we also saw Vegeta when he was a kid growing up and stuff like that. So, yeah, I totally agree. A movie on Vegeta's past or a little series, that shouldn't be bad. But I will actually like them to take a deep dive into Frieza's family. I think that would be interesting for us to know how they came up and They can also link it with the Saints, or even better, give us a rundown on King Vegeta, like the family of Vegeta, like the bloodline, the royal bloodline, how they came to be. That can also be another mini series that they can go into, right? A series on the royal bloodline of Saints, like the King Vegetas, the previous King Vegetas, what they had to go through, and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you. Movies are starting to be expensive, man. Yeah, I totally agree. It's not, some of them is not worth the money. It's not worth the time and the money. But I do go to movies. I think the last movie I went to the theater, I actually went to the theater to see was Predator, Badlands. It was actually a good movie, you know? It was a good movie. But most of the time, movies these days is no longer what they used to be, and it's expensive. The movie ticket, the drinks, popcorn, and other amenities. It's no longer. It's super expensive, man. $20 two tickets. Yep. And again, you're not just paying $20 for two tickets. You're also spending money for drinks and popcorns and other stuff, right? So it's not just the movie. It's not just the movie tickets. Oh damn! DBS Cooler movie. That will be awesome. Making a DBS Cooler movie. That will be interesting because why? It's going to tie into what I just said. A little bit of a deep dive in Frieza's ancestors, a little bit. If they're gonna make a movie on Cooler, I think that would be interesting because if Broly is now canon, Cooler should be canon by now. I think a movie on Cooler should be interesting because it's going to tie into Frieza's ancestor. It's going to tie into King Cole. It's going to tie into what Cooler has been doing this whole time. It's going to tie into a lot of things. It's going to tie into a lot of things. Um, of course, Cooler is not going to survive if they make a movie out of him. And the question is the timeline that they're going to pick. Or if he does come to Earth, who is he going to take on? I don't think he's going to take on Goku and Vegeta. He's not going to take on Goku. They're going to have somebody who he's going to take on. Because his power level, I mean, is he. I don't know how they're going to draw his storyline because the previous Cooler movie was the fact that he took on Goku when Goku was a Super Saiyan, right? So if they make him canon, he's going to have to surpass Super Saiyan Blue. He's going to be edging towards advanced Ultra Instincts if they're going to make him relevant. Because where Goku and Vegeta is right now, they've surpassed, I don't know how they're going to do it, but it should be interesting. And based on what I've heard on Frieza, I mean, about Frieza right now, Frieza trained and became Black Frieza. I'm not sure if Cooler will have something to do with that. Who knows? So a movie on him shouldn't be bad. But then again, if they make Frieza relevant, that means it's going to create a strife of a stigma because Frieza doesn't really like Cooler like that. And Cooler doesn't like Frieza like that either. So it's either they're going to be enemies or they're going to be friends. I don't know how that is gonna go. I don't know where Cooler's place is going to be, you know? Because Cooler is not gonna subjugate himself with Frieza. He's not gonna be under Frieza because he's Frieza's older brother. So he's not going to call Frieza Lord Frieza or anything. If anything, Frieza should be calling him Lord because he's older than Frieza. He's Frieza's senior brother. So, and if that's the case, then it will remove a lot of heat on Frieza. It will dilute the heat Frieza has on him. Because now he got his older brother who is probably stronger than him. Because during Cooler movie, Cooler did state that he can gather energy faster than his brother, right? And if that's true, Cooler has the potential to get stronger than Frieza. And if that happens, like I said, it's going to nullify Frieza's character a little bit, because if we have Cooler and then you have Frieza, if they're going to work together, that will be a thing. But then again, it's going to start taking some shine away from Frieza. And Frieza is not that type of character that you want to put someone who is exactly like him beside him. He's a villain that needs to be alone as a villain and stand out as a villain. If you put him close to Cooler, it's going to nullify his character a little bit and his persona. That's what I think. Yeah, they still haven't made Oob relevant yet on Dragon Ball Super. They still haven't made him relevant. Yeah, I mean, a lot of changes has happened over the years with Dragon Ball Super. Bringing back Cell Max, bringing back Broly, which is a big thing. If they bring back Cooler, I'm not sure where his place is going to be, like I said, because he's going to take Frieza's spot if we're not careful. He's definitely gonna want to take Frieza's spot, and Frieza's spot is a spot that I don't think Dragon Ball fans wants anyone to take Frieza's spot at this point because Cooler is not a good person either. Although he's a little different from Frieza, but I'll tell you, he's as brutal as Frieza at the same time. Because they all share their ancestors' will to conquer and subjugate people, right? Unless if they're going to turn Frieza a good guy, which would be a bad decision to make. Because Dragon Ball Z wasn't Frieza is one of the reasons why Dragon Ball Z is what it is. It's not really about the Saint Saga, but after what happened with Saint Saga and especially what happened on the Namek Saga, you know? If they turn Freezer as an anti-hero, I don't I don't I don't think that would be a good idea. Why? Because once you make that move, you're never going to go back. It's going to be hard to go back on that move. And Frieza has never ever been an anti-hero. He's always been evil to the core. So it's going to rob a lot of Frieza, you know? And his persona is the type of persona you can't write him as an anti-hero. He's going to disturb things. Even if you get Cooler to be the main villain, like Frieza, it's going to change a lot of things. And before you know it, Frieza will no longer be the powerhouse that he is right now. You know, he's no longer going to be that. His persona will be robbed off him. You know, his persona will be robbed off him. If you get somebody just like him that is doing the same thing he's doing, you know, it's going to be interesting concept, but I don't think it's going to do Frieza justice. And again, where would you position Cooler? If he is stronger than Frieza, what does that make Frieza? Frieza would then try to get to level up and to be stronger than his brother. And knowing Frieza, he will not hesitate to take out Cooler if he gets the chance. So it's going to be a rival thing between the brothers. You know, it's going to be a rival thing if they bring back Cooler, because ain't no way Frieza is going to work with Cooler. Ain't no way Cooler is going to work with Frieza. Remember, during the revival of F, when Frieza was revived, the next thing the guy, his men wanted to do is to revive King Cold. If you remember, they asked him, "Sir, let's revive your father?" He said no, because I'm sick and tired of my father's lecture all the time. So if you bring Cooler, he's going to start lecturing Frieza, and Frieza is not going to like that, and he's going to want to kill Cooler. It will be entertaining, but at some point, it's either Cooler is going to live, it's going to do his thing and go away, and not to be seen anytime soon, to leave Frieza to do what he always does, or Frieza is going to go away and Cooler is going to do his thing. You can't have both of them together, because it will work for a little bit, but it's going to lose its nutrient, because Frieza as a villain is a thing. Cooler, those two are not gonna work together. They're gonna hate each other. And Frieza, any chance he gets, he will take out Cooler. And Cooler, knowing that Frieza is a tyrant, he's not gonna trust him either. So I don't know how that concept is going to go, to be honest. Oh, so Oob did play a huge part in DBZ manga. If that's the case, then why haven't they bring back or made him relevant? They should have made him relevant from the get-go, right? I don't know why they did not make him relevant yet. That's exactly what I said. I don't see a place where they can fit in Cooler. I don't see the place at all. And if you really pay attention to Hit actually looks like Cooler if you really look closely. You know? He actually looks like Cooler in a way. Frieza will look for Z Fighter's help to fight his brother. And as soon as his brother is defeated, he's going to kill the Z fighters that help him fight his brother. I think that's what's going to happen. I can see that happening now. I mean, if you want to share some information from the manga, it's totally fine, man. It's okay, because Oob is supposed to be relevant by now, you know? He's supposed to be relevant. So I don't think it's a bad thing sharing that he played a huge part in the manga. Um, because by now he should be relevant. Why he's not relevant, I don't know. if Z fighters help Frieza beat his brother, he's going to kill them afterwards. Yes, I totally 100% agree. Because I remember during the Cooler movie, he did refer to Frieza as a spoiled child. So I think what you just said just hit a light switch. Because Cooler, you're right, he's a seasoned warrior and he's not a spoiled child, even though he's because if you notice, Frieza's ancestors, they are like king, like they are tyrants, So it's almost like Frieza himself is a prince in its own way. And Cooler is a prince. It's because King Cole and the ancestors conquered a lot of galaxies, right? So which kind of makes them royalty in a way. Of course, Frieza is spoiled. Cooler is not really spoiled. At the same time, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have that royal traits, that tyrant traits inside him. I think that might actually make him more dangerous because he's not gonna put himself in situations Frieza has put himself out of anger, out of spite to get revenge all the time. He's going to be more calculated than Frieza is. Now, I'm not saying that Frieza is not calculated. I mean, he's not calculative on the things he does, but Cooler is going to be more perspective or perceptive to not let revenge rule him rather than he will let wisdom rule him, right? Because Frieza could have let planet Earth leave it alone after his defeat, but he wanted revenge. Okay, you see the planet Earth, you see the ball, you could have fired and destroyed it from far away, but he needed to go inside to see. Okay, you've got inside. You see how the planet looks. Blow the damn thing up. No, 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 no. I don't want to blow it up yet. I want to beat up the Z Warriors to spike Goku. I want to beat it, beat up the Z Warriors. All right, okay. And everything he was doing was out of spite to spike Goku to make sure that before Goku arrives, he has killed all the Z Warriors, people that Goku loves and everything. And then when Goku arrives, then he blows it up. That act was what confused him, and then he ran into Future Trunks and he got annihilated. Even King Cole was telling him, Frieza, you could have done all of this. I mean, you could have blown up the planet Earth from far away. You could have done it right away when we got here. Why do you have to beat up the Z Warriors? You could have done, and then he said, well, I'm having fun. I'm trying to have some fun. Yeah, because he's evil. He wants he wants to make sure to hit Goku where it hurts. He wants to get the taste of seeing blood and seeing people cry and weep and in terror just to satisfy his revenge. And that got him annihilated. That got him split into two by Future Trunks. Right. What you just said also specifies that, like I said, watching Cooler movie, he is stronger than his brother and he can gather energy faster than his brother. So of course he's the older brother. And Cooler is not really the type, from what I gathered from the movie, he seemed like the type, just like you said, he would rather fight for honor and for his clan rather than revenge, you know? I could see Cooler being way stronger and way seasoned, just like you said, than Frieza, And I think that will work in his own way because if he comes out exactly like Frieza, it's gonna work for a little bit, but at the same time, it's gonna start getting stagnant because you can have Cooler be like Frieza. There has to be a difference. Frieza is a spoiled child. Cooler is not. So Cooler's method of fighting and his reasoning for fighting has to be different. He might still have that um my ancestors, my father ruled galaxy vibe, because that doesn't wash away. Because Cooler, as much as Frieza is behaves like a child, let's not forget Cooler is also favored due to the fact that King Cole and their ancestors are very successful and rich beyond their widely means. Cooler is a benefactor of that. Now, I think King Cole might have been harder on Cooler because he's the first son, toughen him up a little bit. He's not gonna, he didn't, I think with Frieza, King Cole was a little bit more free to let Frieza do whatever he wants. I mean, at small, tender age, Frieza was ruling planet Vegeta. Literally, he retired, introducing Frieza to planet Vegeta and handing Frieza his empire. He didn't do it with Cooler, and I think that's where I can see Cooler holding some type of contingency towards Frieza. The fact that their father handed everything to Frieza Force, I think that's what happened. Because if you notice, all the people that worked, because Frieza is so close to King Code, that definitely and worked hand in hand with King Code. I would see King Code handing his empire to Frieza than his older son, Cooler. You know? To be honest, I really don't want Diamond Season 2, man. What I want is Super to come back. I really don't want Diamond. Diamond is more of teenagers, Dragon Ball fans has over, like, there are Dragon Ball fans that are older than I am, that are 10 years older, 15 years older. That are probably right now in their 40s and 50s. I don't think they want to watch Diamond. Yeah, 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 yeah. Diamond gave us Super Saiyan 4, Red Goku, and stuff like that. But in the hindsight of things, they really don't want to see Diamond. They want to go back to Dragon Ball Super and continue on where they left off. I don't even know why they made Diamond anyway. I guess they just wanted. Diamond is the last work from Toriyama before he passed away. I guess that's, it's a different timeline. Are they going to continue to do a story that is in a different timeline instead of continuing the story that is an original timeline? I don't know, man. If I collected all the 7 Dragon Balls, the villain that I would bring back, that's a good question. Um, I guess DBZ Broly is out of the picture because Super Broly is now canon. He would have been the person I would like to bring back. But since he's no longer canon, since DBZ Broly is not canon, but DBS Broly is canon, so the next villain that I would think of bringing back would be um Cell is on that list, obviously. Um of course Kid Buu is on that list. Um Bojack is on that list. Uh no need bringing back Talus because Talus, his power level won't be anything, even Gotenks, or Trunks alone Krillin can beat Talus. I mean, Talus is, Yamcha can beat Talus right now, so there's no need to bring back Talus. So I think Cell is on the top list. But I guess we kind of got Cell with Cell Max, so that is out of the way. Um, if we Zamasu will be a big problem. I think King Cole will be on the list just to see Frieza's face because Frieza doesn't want to see his father ever again. He didn't want to revive King Cole. I think King Cole. I have Cell. I have King Cole, just to see Frieza's reaction. Yeah. What about you guys? Oh, I actually thought that you're talking about villains that were defeated and unalived. So if you're talking about villains that can be made canon, then I would say yeah, Cooler can be there, but due to the fact I'm not sure where they're going to place Cooler, where his place will be, it leaves a question mark for Cooler. But I would say Cell, but I think we already kind of got that with Cell Max. So Bojack will be a villain that I would bring back, or Cooler just to see Frieza's reaction. Daima is mixture of between Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. Even though that is the case, that Daima is a mixture, okay, of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. I would say that I don't really see the GT vibe like that because GT was more edgy than Dimer. The only similarity that I see in Dimer close to GT is just that Super Saiyan 4 transformation of Goku. If you ask me, that's the only thing. Because the whole concept of Dimer was just stale. It was boring. The most of it was boring. It only got better towards the end. If you ask me, GT was not like that. I guess that's where I guess that's where I see what you mean, the mixture of Dragon Ball. Even Dragon Ball wasn't that bad. Dragon Ball was pretty good. He had some good fights in him, although he had a little bit more of the adventure vibe, which is like the beginning of Dimer, and then it got really serious, and then they messed it up towards the end, you know. So I definitely don't see Dragon Ball Z in Dimer because Dragon Ball Z as well is very edgy. You know, GT very very edgy. The only similarity, like I said, on Dimer is Goku's Super Saiyan 4 transformation. That's it. That is it. Other than that is just stale. Yeah, there's no need bringing back Talus, man. Yamcha can whoop Talus Toro's ass. No need bringing him back. Because we already have Black Goku, who the evil version of Goku anyway. So we don't need another evil version of Goku that is less stronger. It wouldn't make sense. Janemba, Janemba would be cool. Janemba won't be bad, but then again, where would you? You see, Janemba would have been cool to bring back in Dimer. Janemba, his place would have been better in Dragon Ball Dimer, if you ask me. Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, Janemba will be better in Dimer. Yeah, I see what you mean about Kid Goku, like Dragon Balls. Yep, I see. I know. I guess I get what you're trying to say there. Yeah, the similarity. Yeah, because part of GT, especially when Goku turned into a kid for quite some time. Yep, I guess you're right. I think the whole adventure vibe. I don't think the. You see, here's the thing. To be honest, if they're going to do adventure vibe character thing, they should use Goten and Trunks for that, not Goku. You know, because Goku, Kid Goku adventure kind of thing. It's been played out a lot. It has been overplayed at this point. If they are going to do that kind of thing, let the kids do it. Let Trunks and Goten be the people, be the two characters that will do the adventure thing. It fits more for them because it will give them a reason to get stronger. You know, they should use Goten and Trunks for that, not Goku and Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta are now in another. They should be doing something way more important now. They shouldn't be in this. I mean, the adventure is okay because but I see the Dragon Ball vibe zeroed more towards kids. And I guess that's the reason why they had to turn Goku and Vegeta and Bulma into kids to make it play out better. But I think Goten and Trunks would be suited for that type of stuff, you know, because they are still kids, right? Yeah, Fist. I have not seen Fist of the North Star. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it. Those are one of those old shows that I need to get back in. I need to watch Ninja Scroll, guys. I'm an anime fan. I'm a 90s baby, but I have not seen Ninja Scroll. I have seen a scene that I loved, which makes me want to watch the show, but I just don't have the time yet to watch the show. Okay? Fist of the North Star, I have heard about it, but I haven't watched it. I haven't seen Ninja Scroll either. Yeah, Dragon Ball became popular because of the battle scenes, the edginess of it. It didn't get popular. If you guys realize, Dragon Ball didn't really get popular like that. It got popular when they came to Z. Dragon Ball Z was what really, really put Dragon Ball entirety into, you know, on the map. It wasn't really Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was good for what it is, you know, but Dragon Ball Z was what made it super popular. Dragon Ball GT is going to get a remake in Dragon Ball Super. Are you kidding me? Well, I mean, I would prefer, I don't even know now. If you ask me to be honest, GT is better than Daima. We know this hands down. Okay? The edginess of GT is more acceptable to me than Dragon Ball Daima. GT isn't boring. Dragon Ball Daima, most of it was boring. You know what I mean? So even if they take the GT route, GT wasn't boring at all. GT was a good show. Daima was boring. Most of it was boring. It's basically if Bruce Lee was a Dragon Ball character. That's actually what makes me want to watch it now because I want to see who the main character really is. You know, if Fist of the North Star is like Bruce Lee being a Dragon Ball character, I would love to watch that show now. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna because I'm very very busy now with stuff that I'm doing. My goodness, I was actually supposed to come live tonight and do My Hero Academia Vigilante, but I don't think that's gonna happen now this weekend. Maybe next weekend. But I'm trying to, do the most I can. Um, yeah, man. Fist of the North Star, Ninja Scroll. Those are the two old school animes that I would like to watch. And one of these days, I'm going to make time and watch them. Don't worry, it's on my list. The same way, um, Tokyo Ghoul eluded me for so long, and I just made time and I watched it. I think I'm going to one of these days make time and watch Fist of the North or Ninja Scroll. If they're going to retell the storyline of GT into Dragon Ball Super, I won't be mad at it at all because GT was good. The adventures was good. It was not boring. Dragon Ball Daima, half of it, if not almost all of it, was pretty boring to me. You know? Oh, okay. You mean that there is a Fist of the North Star movie that covers most of the arc. If that is the case, then I think I will make time and do a movie reaction on the movie. Because if there's a movie that covers everything, then I might as well watch the movie. And I have done quite a bit of movie reactions, such as Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, Jujutsu Kaisen Calling Game, and Chainsaw Man Ray's Arc, and other movies that I've watched over time. So if there's a movie of it that covers the whole entire thing, then I think I will make time and watch that movie. Maybe next weekend or something, or on Friday next week. I'm gonna make time and watch it. Samurai Champloo, I watched it, but I didn't watch it till the end. I think I had 3 episodes left, and I did not get back into it, but I watched most of it. Well, somebody like me, if I Dragon Ball Super, if I have the Super Dragon Balls, I can't be selfish, because if you're selfish, Zeno will wipe you off the universe. So I have to make a wish that will benefit not just me, that will benefit everybody, because uh, Grand Prix said that if Android 17 had made a selfish wish, Zeno would have wiped out Universe 7 and everyone. Right? So, and before that, Android 17 didn't know. So if anyone gets the Super Dragon Ball, they have to make a wish that benefits everybody. They're gonna have to make a humanitarian wish. So which means uh, I would like to revive Yamoshi, right? Isn't that his name? Yamoshi or Yamashi, the first Super Saiyan God that transformed into Super Saiyan Red to fight off um, evil for good. You know, I would like to know who that is, because from the telegram of what was shown on Dragon Ball Battle of Gods, Dragon Ball Super Battle of Gods, or Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, I don't know now. The telegram that they showed, it looked more like Vegeta's ancestor, because Vegeta is a royal blood. So it looks like that Yamoshi guy is Vegeta's ancestor, or one of Vegeta's ancestors. You know, the image didn't look anything like Goku at all. It looked more like Vegeta. So, which to say that he's probably a royal bloodline, right? Vegeta's ancestor that did that. Thank you, Aura9944. I'm going to screenshot that right now. Fists of the North Star, Hyukuto no Kin, the movie. I'm going to screenshot that right now so that I don't forget it. And it's even free on YouTube. I'm not sure the quality of the YouTube version. I'm going to find a better quality, because I'm not sure the quality that they have on YouTube, if it is 8 out of 1080, you know. I'm gonna find a better quality version of it. And guys, don't forget to check me out tomorrow for Hell's Paradise. I'm not sure if any one of you is watching Hell's Paradise, but the first episode of season 2, it was dope. It was really good. Well, you know what, Swag, I guess you are very much ahead of me on this wishing game because, yes, you are absolutely right. Zeno will love that wish. Zeno will literally make you a grand priest for making that wish. Zeno will turn you into an angel. He will make you the second grand priest for making that wish. Yeah, I would say that's one of the reasons why um, Zeno erased the whole universe. But I don't think, I guess Zeno, knowing that Zamasu has made a selfish wish, and as well, that selfish wish has caused a ripple on the universe, some type of an abomination on the universe, he even intensified his decision to erase the whole universe from existence. Yeah, man. If you make that kind of wish, Zeno will make you a grand priest, the second in command. Um, I would say if the time machine wasn't available, that's actually a good question. I would say they would be able to beat Android, the fat ass Android and Dr. Gero, but when they get to Cell or even Android 17 and 18 will give them a hard time. And if Cell finds them and absorbs them, it would be difficult. The time chamber helped out a lot. The time chamber is a pinnacle of the leeway to help the situation. But here's the thing. If the time chamber did not exist, Bulma would have built another gravity machine that Goku and Vegeta is going to have to train. Because if you remember, after the Namek saga, it was clear that Goku got way stronger. Vegeta went into the same gravity machine and trained and became a Super Saiyan. So most likely, if the time machine wasn't there, Bulma would have been able to build a more sophisticated gravity chamber where Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan or everybody will have to go training. So that would have been the second leeway to help them out, right? And Bulma would have built it in such a way where it won't be just one gravity training ground. It would be 2 or 3 of them. It might take a little more time, but Bulma is very intelligent and very smart. And let's not forget, her father still exists. So you rest assured know he will pitch in, and they have a lot of money. So the gravity machine would have been the second option. Yes, that would have been an option, but then again, the Saiyans would have disagreed, you know? Because remember, when Trunks told them and warned Goku and the Z Warriors about the threat that is on its way, Bulma suggested to go right now and stop Dr. Gero in the first place from ever building this damn thing. And what did Goku say? Goku said, no, what's the point? He hasn't done anything wrong. And Vegeta even agreed. Piccolo agreed. And because they agreed on that selfish idea not to stop Dr. Gero at that particular point, because if they had stopped him at that particular point, there wouldn't be any Android 17 or 18 or even Cell. But Goku said, well, Dr. Gero haven't really done anything wrong, so going right now to stop him. But Goku has forgotten that all his childhood, he was fighting Red Ribbon Army the whole time and knows how elusive and terrible Red Ribbon armies are. So I don't know why him having those experiences decided to let Dr. Gero build the damn thing. So that's another concept. So I think that Goku allowing Dr. Gero to build the thing in the first place, they will probably have Bulma build the switch. But knowing the Saiyans and their love for fighting, they would have said, you know what, let that be a second option. We still want to test our abilities with these damn androids and see how much we can be able to how far we've come. But in doing that, would have exposed them getting defeated by the androids if they did not use the gravity machine to train, because then the androids will be running loose, allowing Cell to gobble them up in the first place. You know? Yeah, Goku and Vegeta will have their same pride kick in to want to fight the damn thing, which would then lead them to their own destruction. It's almost like the Saiyans are humans in a way, always in search of better technology and making life easy, and goddamn almost destroying themselves. The Saiyans' pride is just the love for fighting. Glad to have another Dragon Ball Z fan or Dragon Ball fan on the chat, man. Aura9944. I didn't know that you are actually a huge Dragon Ball fan. I'm glad to see that. You know, I'm not even surprised. If that ends up happening, Frieza manipulating Broly against Goku and Vegeta, I'm not surprised because Frieza will go to any length to make sure to get back on Goku and Vegeta. He will go to any length to make sure he makes their life miserable. I am not surprised at all, man. I'm not surprised. But then again, I'm not sure how far that will go unless if Frieza manages to get Charlie, which is Broly's girlfriend, kinda, and harm her and pins it on Goku and Vegeta. That might be the only way he would be able to manipulate Broly. But as long as Charlie is still alive, she will be the conduit to calm Broly down should he ever go into his rage bait again. I'm not even going to debate GT being better than Super. I can see why. I can see why that you said that. But again, if you ask me which one would I watch, I would go with Super just because of the tournament of power, even that Black Goku, even that the Battle of Gods, because the Battle of Gods movie continued into Super. No, it was the revival of F that continued into Super. So there was a lot of good stuff on GT as well. Don't get me wrong, but I would choose Super over GT. And also knowing the fact that GT will be computed into Super anyways in some way, shape, or form, with that makes it the more reason why I would choose Super over GT. But if you choose GT, There's nothing wrong with that too. More power to you. Well, that was the idea, but thanks to, I'm glad that didn't work. I'm so glad that did not work because that was Frieza's ambition from the get go. Seeing Paragas and hearing the story and knowing how much Paragas hates King Vegeta, Frieza decided that this is a good opportunity for me to use these two saints, not knowing that it was Frieza that killed their people. I think if Frieza ends up manipulating Broly, it will work for some time until Vegeta tells Broly that Frieza is the one that killed our people, and on top of that, killed your father. I don't think Vegeta knows that it's Frieza that killed Paragus, but I think there's a way truth comes out. Because I think Whis would tell Broly that it was free because Whis knows for sure who killed Paragus. I'm sure if Whis wants to find out, he can find out. So to stop all of this, Whis will probably be the one that would tell Broly that it was Frieza that killed your father. And if Broly hears that, he will put two and two together because it was Frieza that told him that your father has been murdered due to the ruckus you've been doing with Goku. And then at that point, the ass whooping Frieza got from Broly during Broly's movie is nothing. Broly will give Frieza another abuse of ass whooping. Oh yeah, hands down, GT is more geared to mature audience. See, that's the reason why I told you guys that anyone comparing GT to Dimer or saying that Dimer is better than GT, that's ridiculous, right? GT is very edgy. It has that edgy vibe to it. And that's the reason why almost all Dragon Ball fans love GT because it's just cool the way they made it. Even Kid Goku adventure with Pam, it wasn't boring at all. It was pretty entertaining and it was edgy at the same time. Oh man, how long have we been going? 3 hours. We've hit 3 hour mark, man. We have hit 3 hour mark. Yeah, Pan is a prodigy. But I think if they focus on Pan too much, it will Goten and Trunks will be lost on the card. They will slowly dwindle because Pam, if they focus on Pam, Goten and Trunks will be, they're gonna lose their spot. Thanks, buddy. I would try and do more stream like this. It's just that it's just time. You know, it's just time, man. Time. I will love to do more streams like this. All right, guys. I will end the live stream here. Thank you guys for coming in to chill out with me here. Much appreciated. If you guys have suggestions on the on any other topic, whether if it is Dragon Ball or any other show that I've watched, you can let me know. For you guys that will watch this live stream after, share your thoughts as well on what you think. And if you have top 5, top 10 favorite villain of all time, please post them in the comment section. And I think I will also put my top 10 anime villains of all time. I think I will pin it in the comment section, and you can show me yours as well if you're going to watch this live stream after. Continue to support the channel, guys. Much appreciated. And tomorrow I will be live again to do Hell's Paradise, episode 2 of season 2. And during the week, I'm not sure if I will have time to react to, I think Sentenced to be a Hero comes out on Thursday, and JJK season 3 comes out on Thursday. So I won't be able to do Sentenced to be a Hero until Saturday, so that I will do it with Fate's Strange Fake at the same time, like I've been doing. JJK on Thursday and Fire Force on Friday. And then of course, Saturday reactions. I might do another topic like this next week, Saturday. But if something comes up earlier than Saturday, an interesting topic, I will do it as well. So with that being said, yeah, I know it's kind of weird now. Their spot has almost their spot is almost gone at this point. And if they put a spotlight on Pan, it's going to definitely drain their spotlight further. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. So, anyways, guys, good night. I'm going to go and chill out and enjoy the rest of my Saturday. And I hope you do as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Hell's Paradise. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. On that note, see you in the next video.